everybody. We're back. All right, thank you. My first guest is an Emmy Award-winning actor who starred in, of course, the hit series Frasier. This Sunday, you can see him in A Christmas Carol right here on NBC. Please welcome Kelsey Grammer. Thanks for coming back on the program. Always nice to have you here.
Speaking of Emmy, it occurs to me, you gave me my last Emmy.
That's right.
That was very cool.
Yeah, well, I had to. Your name was on the envelope.
I know, but you could have read somebody else's.
That's true. No, that was a nice... You know what, it's funny, you don't really get... it's nice to be able to be a presenter at an award show, it's like the Emmys, because you read the name and you came up, you won, and it was really... I felt like I was giving you a great gift. When really I had nothing to do with it.
But it was still a gesture. It's funny. I once gave one to Christine Baranski. I had gone to Juilliard with her, you know, before the Punic Wars together.
Right.
And I presented her first Emmy to her. And so there was just a kind of nice full circle quality to it.
Yeah, I never got like a thank you note or anything.
Well, I tried to do that now because I felt like crap about it.
Yeah, you're all torn up about it.
Well,
you know what,
hurt.
actually, you know what's funny? This made me realize something. The first time that I met you was a few years before I even started doing this show. This must be about 14 years ago. I was working on The Simpsons, and we were working on a Sideshow Bob episode.
Yeah. Which one
and
did
you
you
came in. I don't even. It's so long ago. I don't even remember. But this was. It was a great Sideshow Bob parody, I think, of...
Sideshow Bob Roberts?
Sideshow... That was the what it's the parody of the great Scorsese remake, and I'm blanking on everything right now.
Cape Fear.
It's Cape Fear, that's right.
Oh, well, that was the
But you came
one.
in, and we had, you know, written what we thought was a funny... And then you just brought this character to life. It was so... Can we hear a little Sideshow Bob?
Sure.
Just for me.
Oh, here's my mic. Okay, this is easier. Hello, Bart.
I just like it. It brings me back. He's also, it's one of the hammiest characters ever written. Oh, no, and you could tell that you were just having so much fun doing it.
He's a devoted ham himself.
Right,
you know, I mean, I'm a ham in the part, but he himself is a ham. So it's ham on ham.
Now, I want to ask you about Thanksgiving. Thanksgiving right around the corner. Is this a warm memories for you?
Thanksgiving in my house was always fight night. You know, well, you know, after a year of holding all the hostility in, you sit down to celebrate with the family. It's the only time you get them all in the same room, you know, and a couple of glasses of wine. And then
it's magic.
Then Grandma cuts open, you know. She's just
Grandma?
Yeah.
Wait, Grandma's the one in your house?
It was always my grandma.
All right, that's...
My grandmother was the titular head of the home in my adolescence, and she was a feisty one. She was a tough one. And so we had a lot of fights. There was a time that I actually threw her boyfriend out of the house.
You threw Grandma's boyfriend?
It gets stranger. His name was Captain Bob.
It was really Captain Bob?
We called him Captain Bob.
Was he a captain, or was it just...
Well, I don't know if he was a captain. He had...
Some men just wear a captain's hat to get deference from people.
He did run boats. He was a skipper on some boats, and he liked to be called Captain Bob. So but I was sitting down at dinner with my sister, and my sister's boyfriend at the time was a young man named Danny Ng, who was half Seminole, half Chinese. This was not very popular in Bob's mind.
Right.
And so he looked over at Danny and said, "Exactly what color are you anyway?"
Oh, my God.
Well, he was kind of a bigot, and he was in pain.
Yeah.
So I stood up at that point and said, "Okay, Bob, that's it. You got to go." So I
wish you had said you're going overboard, Bob.
Well, I should have.
You should have,
Well, Bob, that's overboard. So I picked him up by the back of the pants, and I threw him out of the house.
That's it. Oh, I hope you... Because if you just put one hand, they tip over. But you got to use both, Wow.
Threw him out in the front yard.
Incredible.
Climbed into his car and drove away. My grandmother, about an hour later, said, "I want you to drive me to Bob's." Said, "No, you sit in that room and you stay there." We had a really interesting life.
I think Norman Rockwell painted this once.
Right.
Bob's going out the window. Your grandmother's punching you. Yeah, that's a wonderful scene. Now, I understand, you know, you you're still doing a lot of work, but you have more time on your hands now that you've finished Frasier, which was a lot of work. Doing one of those programs. What are you doing with? You're treating yourself to some.
Well, I'm trying to take care of myself a little bit better. I'm working out once in a while, and I've been doing some. I'm spending more time with the kids. I'm spending more time with my wife. I've been on vacation a bit more often, and I've been doing some grooming.
Grooming,
which is it's usually induced by my wife.
What kind of grooming?
We were in Mexico a while ago, and there were a lot of really handsome young men down there. And I, having formerly been a handsome young man, now a sort of aging, once handsome young man, I'm rather hairy. And my wife said...
I'm glad we could talk about this.
Well, my wife said, why don't you get your back waxed?
Really?
Because you've got a nice back, and you look good like all these other young strapping lads out here. Right. And so we went down to the little salon, and this lovely esthetician from Mexico took, I think, delight in removing the hair from my back.
Now, I don't even know how they do that. I know nothing about it.
It's pretty barbaric, actually. They have a hot, what looks like a paint roller, but it also looks like it's honey. And it's like melted hot honey, but you realize that it's actually epoxy or something.
Right.
And they rub that on your back, right?
Right.
And then they put something on it. I don't know what it is exactly. It's some kind of cloth. It's like fiberglass on a surfboard. And
are you sure you weren't at a surf shop?
Well, I might have been.
Yeah.
And then she pats it for a minute there and then rips it off.
Oh.
So while my wife and this lovely esthetician were laughing, I was screaming and biting the pillow like, the big girl that I am.
Now, what happens to this thing when they're done? Do you get to keep it? Is it like
no, they throw that out. I didn't want to look at it.
That could be a mat in an F1 Ford truck, you know?
I mean, the square...
You could sell that on eBay, Hey, welcome to our home. That's Kelsey Grammer's back. Oh, thank you.
It's probably a square yard on my back, so yeah, you could probably, upholster a chair in it or something.
Well, celebrity stuff goes. You should next time save that.
It's a fabulous item.
Save that.
So, it was very painful, but it did look good.
Yeah. Oh, you looked.
So I started to understand that, there's some benefit in the pain of good grooming.
So your back right now is just completely...
Right now, my back is, it's sort of semi-hairy right now. Because I've
never ended an interview that way before.
I know.
That's going to be my new question at the end of every interview.
I recently tried laser, because, and that's been really interesting.
Laser? Doesn't that just set fire to the hair on your back?
Pretty much.
Well, I'm sorry. I'm just picturing you with this big. I'm just picturing you with this hairy back, and they fire a bond laser at you, and a forest fire goes up.
It's pretty much like that.
9 miles away, a ranger's like, "Oh my God, get the trucks!"
It's pretty much like that.
Wow. I want to mention this: A Christmas Carol, which you shot in Budapest.
Budapest, yeah.
Beautiful location.
Fantastic city.
That's going to air this Sunday at 9 on NBC. Yeah. So, hey, always great having you here. Terrific having you on the show. Kelsey Grammer, everybody. We're sorry Augusta's having to take a break. We'll be right back.